I've reviewed several Brook adapters on the channel and have been impressed with them thus far, because they allow you to use any controller on any platform, so a PlayStation controller on Xbox, or maybe an Xbox Elite controller on Nintendo Switch. But luckily Brook doesn't just give attention to modern consoles, they also have a full line of support for retro consoles. Now a couple more Brook products showed up on my doorstep. You'll get got at another day. You plug into the bottom of an Xbox controller, you're not for this video. One of my favorite retro consoles, and it kind of stings to have to call it a retro console now because I grew up with it, is the PlayStation 2. And one of my first home consoles alongside a Sega Genesis was the original PlayStation. This adapter works on both of those consoles. That's right, if Brook can knock your rainy day money out of your fanny pack, you can use all these controllers on a PlayStation 1, 2, or the PS Classic Mini console, which is what we're going to be testing this adapter on today, because I don't currently own a PS2.
I do a lot of emulation.
And my original PlayStation runs, but she's more of a decorative piece right now as she's mounted to my wall. And the PS Mini is just a lot easier for me to grab and set up for this video, and I'm lazy. Let's adapt ourselves a multitude of controllers not meant for the PlayStation Mini. I messed my PC up. Actually hit my keyboard with that box and caused the glitch in the system. This is your controller captain. We've reached 6,900 feet. Go ahead and start flicking the sticks and mollywopping the back paddles. You don't like back paddles? How about those rear buttons? We've tested almost 100 custom and premium controllers, and we're only at the beginning. You need a thumbstick guide or tutorial on how to overclock your controller? Check out the controller playlist.
Bing bong.
Controller captain out. Now, as for packaging and included accessories, it is very minimalistic. You have a tiny box as you do with all other Brook adapters. As for a warranty, you do have 1 year of coverage, as with all other Brook adapters. Now, the same complaint stands here that when you scan the QR code on the box, it will take you to the landing page for the specific adapter that you purchased, but if you scan the QR code inside the instruction pamphlet that it prompts you to scan, it takes you to a list of all the products that if you're on a phone, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom where your adapter is, and I do recommend that Brook edits their instruction manuals to where the QR code leads to the specific landing page for the product that the customer has purchased. Okay, box inside of a box, box inception, flip her around to the fun side, and that's cool. That looks like a memory stick. Stick? Card. Been a while since we've needed that accessory. Memory card. All 128 kilobytes of storage. Pop in the top, because like Pringles, once you do that, the fun just don't stop. You have a holographic sticker. I'm not going to compare it to a Pokemon card because that's the only reference or comparison I have for something that's holographic, apparently. This is now trash. Not the adapter. This is far from trash. So as for the actual build quality, it feels aight. Obviously, the plastics feel quite cheap and chintzy, but it does have a nice little ribbed cutout here where you can get your fingernails in there and easily pull this in and out of your console. So there's no physical documentation like an instruction manual or brochure. You have to scan that QR code to take you to a digital manual, but again, you're going to have to dig for your product. Over here on the landing page for the product, and if you swipe down, well, not really swipe, you know, I'm scrolling with the old mouse wheel. List of supported controllers. You have a couple of drop downs for each platform, and holy moly, you see a lot of third-party controllers in here. PDP, Hori, Mad Catz, Astro, Nacon, PowerA, 8BitDo. However, as with my testing of previous Brook adapters, I used several controllers. AIM, Scuff, Battle Beaver, Evil, Hex, Megamods, because those all start from a stock OEM factory controller, and then they modify from there. So the adapter's just recognizing that as a licensed Microsoft, Nintendo, or PlayStation controller, because at its core, it is a stock controller that's been customized on. So keep in mind, virtually any third-party controller you have, maybe you have a premium, custom, pro controller, it's going to work. Also, this needs to be mentioned over here because anytime you're using any kind of an adapter or using a controller that's not meant for that specific platform, or even using a controller on PC because that's not the native input of that platform, a keyboard and mouse is, you're introducing input lag or delay, or as we call it around here, delag. And you are not introducing any additional lag or delay that I noticed with any Brook adapters, which is fantastic because that would be a major con or deterrent. As with all Brook adapters, this does also support turbo, which has been around since the Civil War, more realistically, probably the late 70s. This allows you to hold down a button and have it continuously be spammed or repeated. So if you want to make a semi-automatic gun fire fully automatic, you can do that, or playing a fighting game, a beat 'em up, you can just hold down a button and have it continually spam punches. Feature that I never use, and I advise you don't in any kind of multiplayer competitive situation. But as with all other Brook adapters, this does add that functionality to your controller. And quite in depth as well, you have 5 speeds that you can tinker through, from 5 to 25 actuations per second. You're going to be pissing off a lot of people. And another function that all Brook adapters has is full remapping. So by default, they do a pretty good job of remapping the buttons for whatever platform you're playing on. So A on Xbox becomes cross on PlayStation, and the Xbox button becomes the PlayStation home button, and the pause button was the pause button for each controller. But if for some reason your buttons aren't bound to what they should be, you can remap them. And as you notice, there's a little sticker on the front of this memory card, and you can actually print out different image templates and stick them on. So that's kind of cool. Oh, they have a little instructional video for us. This is actually a very useful video. It is timestamped from connecting to troubleshooting to using the turbo function, how to remap buttons. Super useful video. This will be linked in the description below. And it's good to see a manufacturer's tutorial actually be informative, because I'm not going to name any names, but unfortunately a lot of companies' YouTube channels are pretty much utterly useless with their tutorials, and you kind of have to rely on, well, YouTubers, content creators, to make useful tutorials about their products. It would be nice if the manufacturer, who knows the most about their product because they designed it, they did the R&D and created it, if they could explain the full functionality of how to use their product, but they usually can't, and that's when we step in. Okay, that's enough. If you have a retro console, PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, and the LED lights are not lighting up on the adapter, your console most likely does not have enough power to actually drive the memory card ports to power up the adapter. This is a real thing, and the solution is most likely to disassemble or tear down your console and replace the capacitors. Check your power supply, the actual cable, to make sure it's not frayed, and check that you're getting the proper power output. I do wish Brick included a micro USB cable in the box, because you are going to need it if connecting to the PS Classic. Connection to the PS Classic mini console is pretty straightforward. Since it doesn't have full-size memory card slots, you are going to be using USB. You're going to power the adapter from controller slot 1. Then using this USB port, you are going to wire to your controller. Obviously, you will need the correct cable for each controller. This is a PS4 controller, so it's micro USB. Obviously, if you're using an Xbox Series controller or a PS5 Dualsense, USB-C is going to be the way to go. And your initial connection is going to be wired. You simply turn on the controller, and lo and behold, you start moving things around on screen. Unplug the controller, at which point the controller will power itself off. Just go ahead and press the PlayStation or Xbox home button, or Nintendo home button, to wake the controller up, and you're controlling your PlayStation 1, 2, or PS Mini Classic with a modern controller. Look over my shoulder like a third-person action adventure. So this will use its power save feature to turn the controller off after a couple minutes of inactivity, but I can wake it back up with the PlayStation home button, and she works. Probably helpful if I had the microphone pointed at my mouth. Rookie mistake. Now, I will say it cosmetically doesn't look as sleek on the PlayStation Mini in comparison to the original real PlayStation 1 and 2, which used the actual memory card slot that looks flush and OEM. This looks a little bit janky, but whatever. Now, I've got the PlayStation Mini sitting on top of my NES over here, which is kind of ironic considering the original PlayStation was designed specifically to be a CD add-on for the SNES. Can you imagine a world where Sony never launched its PlayStation department and instead it was just a branch of Nintendo? Now, I could have swore that this PS1 was fully unlocked or loaded with my personal PS1 library, but by the scarce amount of titles on the home menu, I can tell that that's not the case. If you stallions and stallionettes are interested, I will do an in-depth tutorial showing you how to unlock, how to unleash the power of your PS Mini console by uploading it with Auto Bleem in order to upload your own personal PlayStation 1 games, or other consoles for that matter. NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, etc. Drop in the comment section below if that's something that you would be interested in, and I'll make it happen. So if you're playing some OG Rayman with the Elite 1 controller, as you can see, I'm using the rear paddles to jump and do my tongue thing. That would be a real deterrent for me. Burglar pops up in your house and you just what happens if I unplug it? It loses connectivity because this was prior to Microsoft introducing Bluetooth in their controllers. This happened when Microsoft rolled out the midlife refresh of the Xbox One, introducing the S and X and revamping the controllers by cutting out this notch or chin and also adding Bluetooth and supposedly increasing the quality control and durability, but we know that's not the case. Xbox Series S and X controller, no issue. What happens if we unplug her? Well, it says when that light goes solid blue on the adapter, I can unplug it and maintain a wireless connection. That doesn't appear to be the case here, but I'm gonna do some workarounds here. Let's hold down the pairing button. Whoa, 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 hey-oh. There we go. So that's weird. The LED status indicator is still flashing sporadically, but I have full control of the game wirelessly here, as you can see. This ain't no black magic voodoo. This ain't no trickery. This thing isn't hanging from the ceiling from fishing wire or anything. I've tested several random PS5 DualSense controllers via the manufacturer's recommended wired method, then unplugging it. No success, so I'm gonna go directly for the Bluetooth connection method. To get a DualSense controller into Bluetooth pairing mode, hold down the PlayStation home button as well as the share button to the left of the touchpad. Status light around the touchpad will begin sporadically flashing. And hold down the LED button on the side of the adapter, which doubles as a button. And after about 3 to 5 seconds, you are connected via Bluetooth. Input lag or delay is non-existent to my corneas. How about Switch controllers? This Nintendo Switch Pro controller instantly started working. It overwrote the PS5 Dualsense, which I had linked via Bluetooth. Let's unplug it. The battery on this is probably dead. It's been sitting on the controller wall for like 3 months. Let's wake it up with the home button. Hopefully it doesn't pair up to my Switch. That one did not have the juice to do anything for us, so I grabbed my personal daily for Nintendo Switch. Little sub $60 controller, couple buttons on the back, very humble. Excuse me? Oh, this one just doesn't work wired at all. So I couldn't get this one working or 2 other Nintendo Pro controllers off camera, but I was able to connect the Brook Vivid controller, which I tested on the channel recently. A Brook controller connected to a Brook adapter. Brook Inception. I once knew a girl named Brook in school. She was a cool. I've tested enough controllers off camera. It's time for a verdict. A genuine thank you to Brook for sending this adapter for review, not only because now I can use damn near any controller I own, which is a fair amount, on PlayStation 1, 2, and Classic, but also on a deeper level than that. Reviewing this product required me to bust out my PlayStation Mini, and it actually got me really excited about retro gaming again, and specifically my PlayStation 1 library, which I haven't touched in quite some time. So thank you, Brook. From now on, when I do play any games on my PlayStation Classic, I'll be getting a lot of use out of this adapter, because in all honesty, back in the mid-90s, the original PlayStation controller was okay. But ergonomically, you cannot deny this is a freakishly small controller for most North American hands. The PS2 DualShock 2, while a substantial upgrade over its predecessor in many aspects, still incredibly small on my pinkies, and even sometimes my ring finger just want more meat to hang on to. More meat. The Brook PS Wingman currently retails for $45 on Amazon, and at that price, this is a tremendous value. If you own a PlayStation 1, 2, Classic, or all 3 of those consoles, you can switch this adapter back and forth. You can use modern controllers that are ergonomically a lot more comfortable to play PlayStation 1 and 2 classics from your childhood with those kick-ass stories. As for cons, I have 3, and they're primarily pretty nitpicky. First of all, scanning that QR code should take you directly to the product that you purchased, not a mass listing of all of their products' instruction manuals that you need to swipe through and pick out your product. Secondly, I understand they're trying to keep their production costs down, but please include a very cheap, short micro USB cable so people that are using this on the PS Classic don't need to source their own. Next, this one's very nitpicky, but the plastics do feel a little bit cheap, but it feels virtually identical to a real memory card, which felt kind of cheap too. Lastly, I was not able to follow the manufacturer's instructions for connecting a DualSense controller or a Nintendo Switch Pro controller by connecting via USB-C and then unplugging the connection. I had to turn the controllers on, put them into Bluetooth pairing mode, and then hold down the Bluetooth pairing button on the adapter, which is currently flashing red because my PS Mini's off, and then after a few seconds it would pair up. So they either need to update their instruction manual to reflect how it seems to actually connect, or hopefully with future patches and updates, the wrinkles get smoothed out to where it really is plug and play and quicker to connect, because I did have to do a little bit of fumbling off camera to get the Switch Pro controller up and running. Overall, this is a tremendous value. I can't really recommend it enough. $45 and use modern controllers on a PS1, 2, or Mini. Yeah, this product is linked in the description below, and I'll see you stallions and stallionettes tomorrow. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, as well as honest gaming product reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, mics, chairs, etc. There are some hefty exclusive discount codes found only in the description of my videos and only for the audience here at Gamer Heaven. Check out Into the AM for some of the sickest looking and most comfortable cloth to ever grace my gaming giblets. If you don't want to be scorching your corneas with harmful blue light, check out Gamer Advantage, the only blue light glasses on the market that look sexy and actually work. If you're looking for a custom controller that'll blow the competition's tits back, AIM definitively has the best bang for buck or price to performance when it comes to Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch controllers. Nope, they don't do Switch, but they do gaming mice. I said doo-doo. I have links to all my other platforms and socials in the description below. If you need a quick laugh or blast of gamer adrenaline, check my short form videos out at TikTok. To get in touch with myself and the stallions and stallionettes of Gamer Heaven, join the community Discord, and check me out at twitch.tv where I go live every other leap year on a blue moon if it falls into an odd calendar number, and my pH balance is on point. Just kidding, starting June I'm going to be live streaming a lot. Thanks for watching. This has been AK40 Kevin hosting Gamer Heaven, and I'll see you tomorrow because I upload daily, all the time, 60% of the time, sometimes, most of the time. Peace.